Good afternoon, everyone. I will ask the class of 2009 to please be seated. I'm conscious of the weather. First of all, I'm Bob Bruner. I'm the Dean of the Darden Graduate Business School. And my purpose here is to introduce my colleagues on the stage, to set a theme and generally launch these proceedings. I'm conscious of the weather, and the meteorologist of the state tells us that, in fact, this will let up. And if a little rain doesn't bother you, it's not going to bother me. So let's continue with it. First of all, joining me on the stage are some of the leaders of the school. Alec Horniman is the Kilgallen, Ohio Art Professor of Business Administration and a Senior Fellow of the Olson Center for Applied Ethics. He's a member of the Academic Standards Committee that follows the progress of our students and certifies their readiness to receive the MBA degree. Robert Caraway, farthest most to my right, your left, is the Associate Dean for Degree Programs and the John L. Colley Associate Professor of Business Administration. Martin Davidson, next over, is Associate Professor and Associate Dean for Diversity and Chief Diversity Officer of the Darden School. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce three very important people, the faculty marshals for the class of 2009, Paul Simcoe, Yorgos Alianis, and Pat Werhane. To our visitors should understand that they've been elected by the graduating classes, and this election signifies the esteem that these students hold for them. It's one means by which students recognize teaching excellence at the school. I will also say a word about Pat Werhane. She was elected by the students to be the marshal, but she also retires at the end of this academic year. She concludes a career of great distinction and impact as a scholar in the field of business ethics. She's been a marvelous member of our community, a wonderful addition, and it is with great sadness, but also the warmest wishes possible to her for the commencement of her retirement. Pat, congratulations. All of these faculty marshals are rare and wonderful examples of the heart and values of Darden. Heart for Teaching makes possible late nights, teaching group meetings, the extended outreach to students here at Darden and off grounds, the zeal to get the latest idea into a course, focus on the learner, the joy in his or her success. I could also say a word about our staff. I would tell you that members of the staff arrived here at Darden at 4 a.m. this morning to prepare for our celebrations. This is an example. This is an example of the high touch, high tone, high energy experience we offer. I had to work that in somewhere, right? And it's just not possible for us to deliver a program of such impact without dedication such as my colleagues display. Please join me once more in thanking our marshals and staff for all they've done. You may be seated. Thank you. Last but not least, we have a very important group of contributors to the glory of this day, whom we must recognize, and those people are the students' spouses and partners, members of the family, and especially their parents and grandparents. Congratulations to you all. Now, here's what's about to happen. We will, the main object of this gathering is to hand diplomas to the new graduates, but We intend to hear just a few remarks from some very important people. We'll give diplomas to 5 groups of people. These are the 3 graduates from our PhD program in Business Administration, 6 graduates from the Joint Degree Program in Business and Law, the MBA JD program, 2 graduates from our Joint Degree Program in Business and Medicine, the MBA MD program, and then of course graduates from our MBA for Executives program and our full-time MBA program. Two points of departure. One point is that some of you have remarked about this stick I carry with me this weekend. I injured my leg this past week, and the stick helps me walk. I will recover soon, but with your indulgence, I'm going to depart from tradition and conduct some of my duties this afternoon sitting rather than standing. Another point of departure is I would ordinarily give about 5 minutes of remarks. I'm not going to do it, given the weather, and I will. I will, however, post these on my blog and on our website if you'd care to know what I have to say. However, we do want to hear from 2 very important speakers this afternoon. We have first Tiim Oakhill, a member of the class of 2009 for the MBA for Executives program. Tim, please join us up here now to give your remarks. To our guests, we ordinarily request each class to elect a speaker to give a few reflections on the experience of each class. Tim will convey the sentiments of the class of 2009 MBA for Executive students.
Now, isn't it a beautiful day here at Mr. Jefferson's University? Friends, family, #1 ranked faculty, and fellow classmates, or should I say graduates, of one of the world's great universities. Doesn't that sound great? Graduates? 2 years ago, we came together as strangers, and today we leave as family. And in the process, you became my brothers, my sisters, and my heroes. And having a few minutes before you today is one of the great honors of my life. This is also a welcome to Mr. Jefferson's vision realized, an educational ethos where professional experiences and academic theory exist in a symbiotic relationship of shared learning, not only from professor to student, but student to student. This is truly the epitome of the Darden MBA. Mr. Jefferson would be very, very pleased. Now, in speaking of Jefferson, it was he that said, "Speeches that last by the hour, die by the hour." Or as my undergraduate English professor taught me, a speech should be like a dress, long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to be interesting. I hope to be short and interesting. To the in-residence MBAs, although our paths rarely crossed, it was an honor to walk alongside with you today in one of the world's great ceremonies, walking Jefferson's lawn, celebrating the vision of a great man with the great amassing of the talent and intellect of the future engineers, educators, doctors, lawyers, and scientists, among others. Thank you. I was lucky enough to witness the lawn ceremony 3 previous times in my life. When I was 7, when I was 8, and when I was 9 years old, as I watched my parents walk the lawn en route to getting their undergraduate and graduate degrees. Little did I know the impact those events would have on my life in my decision to come to Darden. Heck, if my parents could go back to school with 4 kids, then I could certainly go back with 2. Mom and Dad, thank you for the lesson and the inspiration, and today I wear your master's hoods in honor of you both. Thank you. But I'm not alone. Our class of 59 are parents with a combined 74 children. 19 of which were born during the program, and 16 more were conceived. How did you guys find the time? And this is not to mention Lizzie, the newborn who attended class with us to be with her mom. We should never underestimate the impact this experience will have in forming the life lessons and work ethic among our children, just as watching our parents work late and sacrificing impacted us. This is how these lessons are taught. And for the children yet to be born, let them know what you did here. One day our children will realize that we did this not because it was easy or the well-traveled path, but we did it because it was hard. It was the road less traveled, and it was a test in the betterment of ourselves, a trait among those who love the challenge and the satisfaction that successful completion born from hard work brings. But there is no way any of us could have made it through this program without the support from our family, friends, co-workers, and specifically for me, the incredible team with whom I have the honor to work with at the Simmons Company. We know that you all picked up the slack, the presentations at work, the baby feedings, the dishwashing, emptying the garbage, and rooting the team on in the sadly missed t-ball and soccer games. For that, thank you. We could not have done this without you. Thomas Jefferson had a steadfast belief that an individual's greatest asset was the ability to engage in enterprising pursuits and create important innovations. This holds true today, perhaps now more than ever. In step with Jefferson's belief is the fact that we can no longer be good at just one thing and be valuable to the companies for which we work. We must have the ability to be flexible, adaptable, and in general, good at a lot of stuff. We've had plenty of opportunities to practice being flexible and adaptable as we've balanced an MBA with jobs that became more demanding as the most challenging world economy in decades began to unfold. Excusing myself from a dinner of our board of directors because I had homework to finish was not an easy thing to do, as my vice chairman, Charlie Idle, who is with us today, can attest. But I know I'm not the only one in my class with a special memory like that one. But as we conclude our journey, we take from Jefferson that innovation, creativity, and a lifelong love and pursuit of learning are the things that drive our world. It's no surprise that of his many achievements, this place, the University of Virginia, was Jefferson's proudest. He valued above many things freedom born from education. We apply this principle today by bringing a new perspective and new ways of thinking designed to help us create businesses that don't exist today and to solve problems with greater agility. As the great writer Robert Louis Stevenson once said, and many of my poker-playing classmates can attest, life is not about how you play a good hand of cards, but rather how well you play a poor one. Darden has prepared us to play the poor hands that we are and will inevitably encounter. In closing, each of us has a responsibility. We are now part of the legacy that is Jefferson, that is UVA, and that is Darden. Let us go forward from here with humility, the responsibility to listen, to teach what we know, and to make the enterprises with which we work better and more dynamic and lasting places where others grow. Because, in the end, it's not about us. It's about all the people whose lives we touch, and the very fact that our success will ultimately be judged by the growth that we inspire in others. It has been an honor and a privilege to be a part of this program. Thank you again to all of you all who supported our pursuit of this dream, and thank you, Darden.
I'm now speaking for the full-time MBA class of 2009. I invite Doug Kinard to come up to the podium.
Thank you. We save all heckling till the end. To the Darden graduating class of 2009, including my esteemed colleagues of Section B, including Learning Team 41. For the next 45 minutes, I'd like to talk to you about... Okay, I'm kidding. One of the first messages we heard as a class when we came to Darden was trust the process. And for our guests who haven't heard this before, Dean Bruner was referring about the Darden process, a system widely recognized as one of the most rigorous MBA programs in the world, affectionately referred to some of us as the MBA boot camp. Trust the process. Now, what better words to remember as we graduate and re-enter the workforce at a time like this? Now, we came to Darden in August of 2007. Economies around the world were growing. Stock markets were at an all-time high. My 401k was up nearly 30%. Okay, not really, but today we leave in the midst of the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And I have absolutely no advice for any of you whatsoever. I have never been the CEO of anything. I have never run my own company, and I don't have a PhD in business like our professors do. But honestly, you don't need any more advice, especially from me. Because we're actually lucky. We have been at this great institution during this unbelievable time, watching events unfold, able to analyze them, and now we are products of the Darden process. For our guests, please let me explain to you the Darden difference that we know, and why, in my opinion, these graduates will be successful no matter what happens in the economy. First, we live by what is known as the Darden brand. Now, these graduates display leadership, integrity, humility, an incredibly strong work ethic, and high engagement. To be successful in a Darden classroom requires each of these traits. Darden is about collaboration. It is not cutthroat competition. It's about humility. It is about humor. It is not hubris. Darden is about decision-making, not dangling on the fence. U.S. Airways pilot Captain Sully Sullenberger, that's the Darden style. Making timely decisions in a high-intensity environment. As I said, Darden is about integrity. Bernie Madoff, not a Darden graduate. Darden people embrace diversity and understand the importance of viewpoints different than our own. This class of 2009 is the most diverse class ever to graduate from here. Darden is about creative entrepreneurs starting incredible companies like Husk Power Systems, which is already providing power to remote villages all over India. Darden is about courage, as shown by a classmate of ours who has bravely fought cancer right in front of us while continuing her MBA studies. Darden is about community and family. Though we may not be as genetically productive as our executive MBA brethren, we have welcomed nearly 20 newborns of our own into our class, including my 1-week-old daughter, Haley. Thank you. Daddy loves you, and he loves your mom. We've even had 2 Darden marriages and a few Darden engagements. We expect more engagements to follow shortly. I won't call you out here. You know who you are. Most importantly, though, Darden is about a higher standard of conduct than what passes for normal in the business world. What others do and how others behave is no guide for what is right, a fact that we talk about a lot here, especially in the past year. So in conclusion, Yes, this economy poses a challenge, but what a fantastic time, a fantastic opportunity to be leaving such a great business school, armed with the tools that Darden provides. As the dean says, trust this process of which you are now a product. You have been shaped by the finest professors and the finest student peers in the world. Be grateful for this. If you continue to trust the process, I can guarantee you that one day the following words will be spoken of this class of 2009. And graduates, please repeat the following after me. There once was a class of 09. Stop. I'm going to stay up here all day if you can't do better than that. So, there once was a class of 09. Who had every reason to whine. The market had tanked. But Darden they thanked. And in the end, they turned out just fine. Thank you.
Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Thank you. That's one of the few inspirational and clean limericks I've ever heard. This is very good. Now let's turn to the process of awarding diplomas. Let's get on with it, shall we?